So, yeah, take your child pose. And well, just as we do, in any pose when we start in yoga, we're just taking the time to be present and to notice how you're feeling, and to notice if there's a bit of you that's calling your attention. Maybe that's a physical ailment or condition or ache, pain, or maybe it's a mental thing, something that's preoccupying you. So being aware of that. It's not that we want to invest in that too much, but it's just having some awareness of the landscape and what's going on, and the terrain of your body and mind. So, and part of that observing, noticing is, also applies to our breath. So noticing your breath. And any shallowness of breath, or anything that perhaps indicates, I don't know, some tension. And make an effort to rest your head. And if your head isn't comfortably resting on the floor, then support it with your hands. So bring the hands under the head. And really commit the weight of the head to your hands. We're going to take a little twist. So we're going to move our hands now around to the right hand side and go as far as you can. And really sort of breathe into that left side of the body. And you can pin down a little bit through your sitting bone on that left side. And then we're going to go all the way to the other side. And then we're going to come back to centre. And we're going to come up to all fours. And we're going to press out, sort of tuck the toes under. Really sort of press down through the toes and the ball of the foot and bring your bum back. So we're not quite in child pose, but we're sort of in the similar shape, but our toes are tucked under. And make space if you can between your toes. So this is it's interesting because, yeah, I know for some people this is really, really strong and almost painful. So if that's the case for you, then you can ease off a little bit by maybe coming onto the forearms so there's less weight into the toes. But equally, you might feel that it's actually really quite comfortable, and you could go to a slightly stronger position where your toes are tucked under. And you're sitting back on your heels. Hi, Simon. We're just doing some feet stuff. We've done child pose, and now we're coming into our feet. So you've got the option of being on your hands and knees and tucking the toes under like that, or coming right up onto your, and sitting back on your heels. So either option is good. And a little meditation on your feet. I've had loads of people come to me in the last few weeks with feet related things, a lot of plantar fasciitis, which is more the heel of the foot. But it just reminds me of how much we need to take care of our feet, and time spent stretching out the feet is really important for your longevity, you know, being able to stay mobile throughout your life. And so we're going to come back onto the hands and knees if you weren't already on the hands and knees. And you're going to take your right foot forward. So we're in a sort of lunge position. And then we're going to come onto the heel of the front foot. So you might, to be comfortable with that, you might need to shuffle the back knee away. And then let's really work on flexing that foot. And you can even bring your hand, your right hand, and sort of work that foot a little bit stronger by bringing the hand onto the ball of the foot and sort of encouraging more flexion. You can also wiggle your foot a little bit from left to right. And you can point your toes and even bring the whole of the foot flat to the floor. Like a very dancer-esque move. You can do a whole combination of that, a little bit of rotation, coming onto the heel of the foot again, flexion, aversion, inversion, pointing the toes. And now come onto the sole of the foot and bring your weight forward. So you've got your knee over your ankle. And press into the front of the back foot. So we're actually on we're on the front of the back foot. Pressing down. Sorry, it seems like lots of people are trying to get in, and so I don't know. I think there's lots of internet problems at the moment for people. Maybe that's why, which is why I'm darting back and forth. So we're pressing into the front foot. We're in a lunge. We've got the right foot forward. We're just trying to wake up the back foot a bit more. So let's tuck the toes of the back foot under. And let's step forward. So we've got both feet together. We're in a Uttanasana, a forward fold. You can let your head drop. You can bend your knees a bit so it's a little bit softer. And pick up your toes and spread them all. And then bring them down. And we'll do that again. So pick your toes up, spread your toes, and bring them down. And then we're going to just lift up the feet one by one and bring our hands down. So we're standing on our hands. It's a bit weird to stand on your hands. So kind of feeling the feet from the underside. You don't often get to do that. And let the weight of the feet tip forward a little bit, so you're sort of massaging the wrist area, the wrist crease with your toes. And the weight can tip back into the heels, and you can kind of rock a little bit in that position. And release your hands. So we're going to do the other foot. So we're going to step the right foot back, or coming into a lunge. And then from there, we're coming onto the heel of that left foot. And we're waking the foot up, like we did on the other side, so reversing the foot. Pressing. Flexing the foot and spreading the toes, rotating the ankle. And you can also bring your hands onto the foot. So you've got the left hand, just gently encouraging a little bit more movement. Not over exerting, but making a little bit more movement. And then bring the foot down, and the knee comes over the ankle, and press into the front of the right foot now. So we're kind of just experiencing, the foot in a slightly different way. Press into the little toe, press into the big toe. Quite a lot of sensation I find in the front of the foot that I am oblivious to the rest of the time. It's nice to actually press into the front of the ankle a little bit as well. So let's tuck the toes of that back foot under and step the left foot back. So we're kneeling all fours. And in fact, I'm going to give you two options. So the one option is to, oh, hi Leslie, I can see you're having problems connecting. I apologise. Hope that's not my fault. We're doing some feet work before we come into the main sequence. So just kneeling at the moment, if you can bear to, bring your bum between your, well, actually you can either bring your bum between your feet, or if that just feels too much, sit on your heels, and we're going to rock back into our hands, lift the knees, so we're massaging the front of the foot. And if that feels too much, because some of you might, I know, maybe feel a bit delicate in the feet, then just do one foot at a time. So you're on the sole of one foot, and that leg is bent in front of you, and you're rocking back into the other foot. So we're just basically massaging the front of the feet. Either both feet or one foot at a time. It's quite intense. I'm inspired to do this because I've got so many people telling me they've got plantar fasciitis and bunions and all sorts of, feet problems. So it just reminds me that how much we need to care for our feet. And apparently you can do loads for bunions with spreading the ball of the foot. So it's definitely something that you don't have to accept as your fate. You can kind of work to improve the health of your feet. So let's just come to resting, and we'll take a little moment in child pose. So knees, spreading the knees, come down, head down. Take a breath. Relax your face, your jaw. And we're going to make our way up into downward dog. So tuck your toes under, spread your hands, spread your fingers, and coming up with that real awareness of the feet. So we're going to, in our downward dog, we're going to really lift our heels. Spread the toes. And then very slowly, with control, lower the heels. So you feel that stretch into the Achilles. I don't expect the heels to come down. Unless, you know, if they do, that's great, but it's not the be all and end all. It's just a feeling of stretching the heels. That's the thing. It's not important whether they reach the floor. Lifting and lowering, very controlled, meditative. You can bring your breath into that. And then we're going to walk our hands and our feet towards each other. Finding your way into Uttanasana, forward bend, drop the head. Your knees could be together, or your feet could be together, or you could have a small distance between them. It's not so important, but we're going to bend the knees. We're going to find a squatting position, and swing the hands back towards your hips. And let's really engage those inner thighs and the shins. I don't think I really give many instructions for your shins, but can you get a feeling of pressing the shins towards each other? Really firing up the lower body. A little bit of a pelvic floor action. And then finding Utkatasana, so the hands come up in line with the hips. And maybe sink a lower if your knees will tolerate it. A bit of burn maybe. Bring your hands into your chest. We're going to hold this for a little bit. And then turn to the left and hook your right elbow over the outer edge of the left knee. Line up your elbows with the heel of your hand and roll back that top shoulder. And maybe bending a little deeper, or not if your knees are struggling. Keep breathing. We're going to come back center, so hands into your heart. And then turn to the other side. Just going to turn around so I can see you. Move. So the feeling of the shins pressing in, the thighs pressing together, the top shoulder rolling back, hands into the heart, and then hands back to center, and we'll extend the arms once again. You're doing really well. And coming up. And turn to the, up. We're going to do a bit of left to right. So I'm going to turn to the long edge of my mat. So if you can do that, good. And you can just catch your breath here just for a moment. Hands into the heart. Relax the jaw. Listen to your heartbeat. Take a wide stride. Press into the little toe edge of the foot. So really activating that outer edge of the foot. And now we're going to turn to the right. So turn the right toes out and the left toes in. Really work that back heel, the left heel. So lift the left heel so you're feeling it quite powerfully in the left leg. And then we're going to just very slowly do a little dip with the back knee. So it's not, unless you really feel like you want to go low, then of course you can. We'll just try and build some strength in those legs. Coming into the colder months, we need that fiery feeling. Be mindful of your front knee, your right knee. You don't want it to move beyond your ankle. You want to keep that sort of sense of the joints being stacked, one knee over ankle. Keep you safe. And then you might need to slightly hop in with that back leg. We're going to, from there, step that back leg up, turning so we're left leg forward, and cross it over the right leg. I'm just going to, so we're taking eagle arms, I'm just going to turn so you see. So we've got left leg over the right, and then we're going to take the left arm and wrap it under. Go low. Feel the fieriness. So we're going to transition into a sort of warrior. So let's release the arms first of all. We'll take them out wide, so they're not traditional sort of warrior arms, and then take your foot back. So we find a sort of flying warrior. Toes point down. And then let's just slightly step that back foot down. So we're in crescent lunge again. Bring the hands down, other side of the right foot, and step back into plank. We'll do a little bit of strength work here. So bend your right knee and really work that left leg. So as though you're sucking the flesh back onto the bone, pulling it all back to the bone, pressing out through the heel, pulling up the lower belly, knitting in the ribs, pressing the floor away. And then we'll do the other leg. So one leg, the other knee down, and we're really feeling the flesh on that straight leg and pulling it in towards the bone, activating every part of the leg. Let's just do that once again. Then the other knee, the left leg. Really try and activate every morsel of flesh on that leg, on that straight leg. And then swap legs. Keep breathing. We're going to bring both our knees down now, and we're going to lower to a version of, cobra. So we keep the feet together, we're squeezing the thighs together, and we're going to lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Gently squeezing in all the posterior chain muscles, so all those muscles along the spine and the buttocks and the thighs. And we don't want pain here. So I was having a conversation with someone about this pose today, how very common that people feel a bit of pain in this pose. So don't allow that. If you're finding it's happening, it means that you need to build up a bit of strength. So just come a bit lower. And when you get the strength in your back muscles, it will cease to hurt you. So bring your head down, completely rest your head. You can use your hands to support your head. And now take your hands back towards your feet, palms face up. And we're sort of really reaching towards the feet, and then the head and shoulders can lift. And keep the squeeze between the thighs and feet, and maybe your feet can lift. So Shalabhasana, locust pose. I tend to keep you in Cobra and don't do these other back arches, but same principle with Cobra, that we want to feel that everything's sort of squeezing in. And no pain, don't tolerate any pain. So if you're feeling a pinching, nasty feeling in the lower back, then just come lower. You know, it just means that you just need to work it from a gentler position. It's hard, this one. And then come down and completely relax your body down, so the head can be supported by the hand. We're going to slide the hands back so they come in line with the elbows, around the lower ribs. Press the floor away, coming up to upward dog. Roll the shoulders back and down. Bring your bum back towards your heels. Find your downward dog. And we're lifting the right foot. Squeeze your left buttock in, so supporting this lift of the leg, and then stepping lightly forward, and we'll step up without further ado. So stepping lightly forward and then stepping up with the back leg, jumping up. Well, not jumping up, but lifting up into a sort of not quite a warrior, but maybe if you're feeling strong, you can take your hands away and I'm wobbling like mad now, into a warrior, full warrior. And then with control, stepping that back down. So we bring the foot flat to the floor and turning your toes back to the long edge of your mat. So turning back to where we started, and pausing. Let everything settle for a moment, your breath, your heartbeat, any, I don't know, anything that comes up mentally as well, just relaxing it. An unhelpful thought maybe, or hopefully you're just in a completely open-minded state, but sometimes we do get frustrated when we're doing, especially with balancing poses. So we're going to turn the left toes out, we're going to turn the right toes in. We've got the heel lifted on the right leg, and we're just going to drop gently with the back knee up and down. Make it very smooth. If you want to go deeper, of course you can. The knee can come all the way towards the floor. It's really a strength practice. There is flexibility as well, but we're looking at more the strength here. And it's obviously it's physical strength, but there's a mental stamina as well. So really bringing your breath, harmonizing your breath with your movement up and down. Bringing together all these forces of mind and body and breath. In a moment, we're going to move into our eagle. So you'll need to, for me anyway, I need to hop my back foot in a tiny bit. You might not need to, assuming that you might, but and then when you're ready, stepping it forward, so you come to face the left the short edge of your mat, and wrapping that right leg around the left, and the right arm comes under the left. Eagle pose, or Garudasana. Keep breathing. Holding things a little bit longer tonight, so I love to do that actually. Although I do enjoy a fast practice, but I feel like when you're needing strength, stamina, it's nice to just hold things a bit longer. We're going to take our arms out wide, and then we're moving into a sort of warrior, balancing warrior. Control. Stepping back into lunge. We're taking our hands all the way down. And come back to plank. So we'll do that little plank sequence with a little variation. So bring the right knee down and really engage the flesh on the left leg. So you're hugging it all in, sucking it back towards the bone. Every bit of flesh. You do that. And also the lower belly, the ribs, everything's kind of contracting, but in a nice way. We'll swap knees. I tend to think of contraction in negative terms, but actually it's powerful. It's a way of creating power. So we're going to do the other knee, but I'll give you something slightly stronger to do here. So the whatever knee you've got down, when you're feeling ready, hop that knee up and see if you can just tap it against the opposite elbow, and then back to its same elbow, and then back to the floor. And then we'll do the other knee. So whichever knee you're on, when you're ready, lift it, take it over to the opposite elbow, back to the same elbow, and then back to the floor. And we can bring both knees down, and we're lowering to the floor. We're going to do our cobra. So feet together, thighs, knees together. Find that nice little gentle squeeze. Hands around the lower ribs. And we're kind of slowly lifting the head and shoulders, and maybe not going very far. More important to feel powerful. It's contraction again. No pain. So if you're feeling a bit of pinching, just come lower, hold it lower, and stay there. Which might be frustrating if you want to feel like you want to come higher, but better to stay low and strong. And then just completely rest your head, body down. So we'll do another back arch. This one, we're taking our hands out in front of us. We're going to rest on the little finger edge of the hand. So it's like a karate chop with your hands. Let's lift the right foot. So the feet are close together, but we're lifting the right foot. And we're going to really firmly press into the right little finger edge and lift the left hand. And if you feel comfortable here and there's absolutely no pain in the lower back, you can edge your right hand back towards your chest, and maybe that will help you lift a little higher. If you're not feeling comfortable, then just go lower. Don't come up so high. Work on the, really strengthening those core muscles. So we'll just swap. So bring both hands down, both feet down, relax the body. We'll do the other leg. So it's the left, for me it's the left leg, lifting, pressing into the left hand and lifting the right hand. And being honest with yourself about what's going on in your lower back, and if there is a bit of nasty sort of pinching or disquiet, then just don't come up quite so high, and stay low and stay strong. And now bring everything down, rest your head on your hands, and really relaxing those muscles. Powerful, very strong. These poses are really strengthening poses, and it's important to have the rest time as well, so that you're not, when we move out, you're not holding tension or contraction. So slide your hands back towards your lower ribs. We're just gently pressing up into upward dog. You may not want to come up very high here. Technically your knees are lifted, but if there's any discomfort, just bring the knees down. And then we'll bum back towards your heels, up to downward dog. And we're going to lift that left leg. Squeeze your right buttock in to feel more stabilized as you lift the leg. And then we're stepping forward and up with the back leg when you're ready. From here you can take more of a balance if you're feeling strong. Hands up into the heart, or even out in front. Lots of control, stepping back into sort of warrior two shape. So the back foot is flat. Turn back to the center, so the toes turn to the long edge of the mat. So we're going to step to the left edge of the mat now. A bit more balancing. Lift the heel of the right foot. Make that left leg really solid. When you're ready, let the foot come up. Take the knee and guide it out to the side. If it all feels okay, you can bring that foot into the inside thigh, or lower on the leg if you're feeling really wobbly. And then we'll go for something a little bit stronger with the hands. So we're going to take the hands up as tree posed, Vrikshasana. Hands up overhead. If you're not steady, then it's okay to have the hands up to the side. We're going to take that leg and lift it off. Lift the right foot off the left leg. Bit of flexion in the foot, and then stepping out to the side. So we're taking like a triangle shape. Really press back into that left foot. Arms are still overhead, and we're just going to let our arms move so that we're kind of not going as low like we normally do. We're just taking a little side bend so that the torso is in line with the left leg. So there's a lot of control needed around the ribs, the lower belly to hold this. You're not getting the support from the hand. Keep pressing into that left foot. It will help you, it will help anchor you. We're going to bend that right leg. And then bring the hands all the way down, step up with the left leg and Ardha Chandrasana. So the toes turn out to the side. Lots of balances tonight. Toes turn out to the side. And if you feel like you're very steady, then you can take that hand up all the way towards the ceiling, the left hand, or just wrap it around the waist if you want a more focused chest opening, or rest it on the side of the body. With control, taking ourselves back into Trikonasana triangle, but this time we can be a bit kinder on ourselves and let the hand rest on the leg, higher on the leg or lower on the leg. Completely different feeling, isn't it, when you've got the support from the leg. And let's take that top arm, wrap it around the waist. You could even, if you could, depends how long your arms are, that top hand could even rest on the front of the thigh, if it goes that far. And then you've got a bind for the chest. Pressing, keep pressing into that little toe edge on the back foot, the left foot. We're going to move into Warrior Two, so you might need to slightly adjust. Take yourself up to Warrior Two. And a bit more love for the chest, so take that, if you can reach for the back hand with the other hand, so it's quite a different sort of shape. So it's clasping with the right hand, the left hand, and let's just hold that warrior stance with a very open chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades in, drop your shoulders. Enjoy. I'm going to straighten up the right leg, turn the toes back to center, and then bend so we turn the toes back to center. We're going to bend that right leg again and step back to the right side. Just pause here. Release your hands. You can move into your heart. Let's lighten the weight into the left heel now. Make the right leg really, really, really solid. Lift the left foot, and when you feel stable, we're going to guide the leg out to the side. Foot can come into the inside thigh of the right leg or low on the leg. Somewhere where you feel stable, because we want to, it's important to feel strong here. So hands can come up overhead. I'm trying to really make you strong today. Which is why sometimes it's pulling out a little bit, not going quite so far, not overreaching yourself, to maintain that strength. So hence do take the option of having the leg lower if you feel that creates more stability. So we're going to move the left foot off the right leg, and then step into a sort of version of Trikonasana. So we've got the left toes point to the little edge of the mat, right toes in, and then we take that little side bend. So again, the idea of sort of contraction, but in a healthy sort of way. In the lower belly, all the abdominal area, the ribs, everything pulling in towards this midline. And we'll just take a little warrior, so the left knee bends. Lift your back heel and then bring the hands down, and we step up into Ardha Chandrasana, that half moon, which is where the toes point out, and then you've got the option of raising the right hand or resting on the side body or wrapping it around the waist. So we're really trying to, it's strength, stability that's important here. So do adjust it, do bend the knees a little, keep breathing. We're going to come out nice and smooth and slow. Bring that foot down the back, right foot, and then you can take Trikonasana with the support from the left hand. So the left hand comes onto the shin or thigh or lower. So we're wrapping the top arm around the waist, and maybe you'll find that it can reach the left thigh. And we're going to move into Warrior Two, keeping that arm around the waist, and reach for that right arm with the left hand. Straighten up your left leg, turn the toes back to center. And we're going to just bend the left leg again and step in with the right and come back to your standing position. And let's just rest with the hands down by your sides. So hopefully we're at the left edge of the mat. It doesn't really matter too much, but we are going to turn to the short edge of the mat. And slowly bring yourself down to Uttanasana, forward bend. And step back to downward dog. And we'll take a pigeon. Haven't done much hip stuff, so lift your right foot, engage your left glute, and then forward into pigeon. Come all the way down onto your forearms. If you get any discomfort in this, I would really encourage, I did a really long pigeon the other day with some blankets, which I thought I didn't need, but actually I really enjoyed having the support of the blanket. So get a cushion if you feel any sort of twingy discomfort. It's nice, won't do you any harm, and it's a good thing to get that support. Tuning into the breath. lengthening the breath. Yeah. And if you feel the urge to pick up that back foot, I can see some of you do. So go for it if you enjoy that and you want to reach for the foot. Then please go. If you're just enjoying staying low, then stay low, because that's a lovely thing as well. I'll give you the option of working a bit more into that left thigh. So you can come up a little bit and roll right onto the buttock, the left buttock. Sorry, the right buttock. And then bend the left leg, and then you can press the foot in towards the buttock. And maybe, yeah, so pressing the thigh forward while moving the knee back will feel really good, I hope. And the hand that's grasping the foot, just be aware if that means that you're creating a bit of tension in the shoulder. And if so, then can you kind of ease off a little bit so that shoulder isn't all taut and tense and uncomfortable. So we're going to release the foot, and we're going to take the back leg, that right leg, and bring it. So we're coming into Janu Shirshasana, which is head to knee pose, where we've got the foot. It's a bit like tree, because we've got the left foot pressing into the thigh of the right leg. And we're going to just fold down a little or a lot. And I don't know why, but I don't give you this instruction very often, but hinging from the hips. So sometimes with a forward bend, you see that people are more hinging from the mid-back. But can you think about moving from the hip joint? And then that means that you keep a bit more nice line of the spine. We're going to do a little bit more hip. I'm just moving so you can see what we're going to do next. We're going to take that. So this is quite strong. So I'll give you different options depending on what's going on with your knees. So the strongest option is to take the right foot, and it's called fire log pose. You rest that right foot or the right shin and foot on top of the left shin. So like stacking of logs. And it's pretty intense. There's quite a lot of space between the shins and the pubic bones. So you've got usually quite a lot of space, because the shins are parallel. They're not at an angle. Now that is pretty strong. So if you feel that's a bit much for you, then you know, you can have the feet, instead of crossing your leg like that, you can still do the cross of the legs, but have the feet much in towards your bum rather than out in front of you. You can adjust. I hope those options make sense to you. And if that's still too much, you can have the right leg straight and the left simply bent over the right. Finding your edge. So I know some of you are going to, Leslie, I reckon you're like this with your hips. Is that quite nice? Yeah, I thought you'd like that. Some people just not tolerate that at all. Pad up, obviously, if you're finding it really difficult. Just getting really tuning into that feeling in the hip. It's very absorbing for most people, so let that be your little meditation. Hip vibes. And it's normal for it not to feel entirely comfortable. You definitely don't want sharp pain, but a little bit of discomfort here is almost inevitable because hips tend to be quite tight. Using your breath to cool things down. Deep breaths, deep in breaths, long, slow out breaths. So some of you might love this, and so feel free to stay here a little bit longer. But if you've had enough, then you're going to find your way back into pigeon. So you basically just take that top leg and roll it back. So you come back to pigeon. And then hands walk back, so you're in a sort of upright pigeon. Tuck your toes under and step back to down dog. Lift your heels, swivel them to the right, press into the left hand more so you get a nice little side stretch. Lift your heels again, swivel them to the left, press into the opposite hand. Back to center, lift the other leg. Make those that glute. Left leg is lifted, right glutes are pressing in, and then find your pigeon. Pad up if you need to. Down. If you want to lift the back foot, you can. Maybe reaching for the foot, if that feels good, or just stay low. So we will, in a moment, we'll come up. So you come onto your hands and then roll onto the left buttock and bring that right foot in, and more working into the front of the hip and front of the thigh on that right leg. And then we're going to release that back foot and bring it out in front, so the left foot presses into the right thigh and folding forward. Janu Shasana, which is a forward bend. Slowly coming up and finding that, well, ideally you do the same as you did on the other side, but so the fire log pose, which is where you have got your shins parallel, stacked one on top of the other, or it's more when you cross the knees and bring the feet in. That's more, or Gormukhasana or cow pose. It's something, yeah, so slightly different, but it's similar in the sense of the hip stretch. And if you're finding that too much, you can straighten up the left leg. And we're just sitting and absorbing the sensation. So you can do a little forward bend here too if you wanted. It's very subtle. but you hold it longer here if you're enjoying it, because I do think I love these quieter poses. If you're getting something out of this and want to hang out here longer than stay here, you might feel like you've really absolutely had enough, and if so, then you're going to take that leg back into pigeon, that top leg back, and rest in pigeon. So we will come out of this pose by rolling onto that buttock, that left buttock, and then bringing the right foot in, so the soles of the feet come together. So it's Baddha Konasana, which just means bound triangle, and then we're holding the feet. So you can hold the feet from the top, or if you want a stronger version of this, you can weave your hands underneath the legs and hold the feet from the underside, and it's a bound, more of a bind, so you're coming deeper, lower. So it's really slowing things down now. You can come up, and we would do Shavasana, but I'd like to do a different sort of twist with you. So can you get a bolster, if you've got a bolster, or some cushions? And this is my new favorite twist. So you probably want cushions that are fairly chunky. If they're really flat cushions, then ideally you'd like 4 cushions, but I think yours are, yeah. So that you want cushions that will support the knee to the length of the knee to the foot, if that makes sense, and roughly about hip height. Ideally, obviously you just work with what you've got. And we're going to get into, so get your warm things, get your pajamas on if you've not already got your pajamas on. I can see this, yeah. And lie on your backs with your comfy things all near to you, and the cushions or the bolster is going to you're going to put it on your right side, and then you're going to cross your left. Let me think. You're going to cross your left leg over your right. So we're doing eagle legs.
Move closer to
So yeah, so the bolster is, or whatever it is you're using, is on the right side. And then you're going to cross your left leg over your right and hop your bum right over to the left side. So it's an exaggerated hop. So you're now a little wonky. And then you're going to bring your legs down to the side. Sorry for that rude interruption. So you're ideally, the idea is that normally, obviously, your legs will drop to the floor. I want this to feel very supportive. So not everyone's hips will cope with the drop to the floor. I think you lot are all fine with that, but actually it's the comfort factor that I'm bringing in here. So the leg from the knee to the foot is supported ideally, and then that creates greater ease in the hip. But you can still go in deep into the twist by pressing the arms back and shoulders back to the floor. So you've got everything's on the right side, but we're really going to make that left shoulder press back. And you can even turn your gaze to the left. And the head can turn to the left. And adjust it if you need to be more comfortable. I mean, I'm suggesting how things are going to be optimum, but feel free to adapt. And although we're not in Shavasana yet, we're working on that vibe, that Shavasana vibe, letting go, not trying too hard, hence the bolster, hence the cushions. And yet there is a deep opening and release that comes from the twist. Letting go is obviously physical, mental, not thinking, and if thoughts come up, not following those thoughts. And the breath as well, not holding the breath. Softening where we can around the jaw. Yeah, just another couple of breaths like this. You can begin to come out, and because we're kind of trying to make it more of a nurturing twist, then if you need to unravel your legs first, then do that. Taking the bolster or cushions to the other side, or simply rolling around across the right leg over the left. So we've got kind of eagle legs, and the bum hops quite a bit over to the right. and the legs rest on the balls. Or the lower leg. Pressing back into that right shoulder and arm. And the gaze can follow that right shoulder and arm. The idea of the support is to just, it's a psychological thing as well, it kind of reassuring, supportive, but it actually has quite deep benefits in the sense that when we, a lot of the understanding around stress and trauma now is that it's physiological. So if we can do reassuring things for the body, then that can release a lot of stored tension. Yeah, on all sorts of levels. So deep breaths, slow, lingering out breaths. And then when you're ready, you can begin to come out and find your way into Shavasana. Get your eye cushion, get your blanket, support for the knees, support for the head maybe. Slippers I can see coming out there. Just settling down. All these little preparations for Shavasana are so important. I think a little bit of ritual around this is good. There's a very old yoga book called the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and they talk about creating space for yoga. But actually they talk about it being in a cowshed, and it's quite funny. It's not meant to be funny, but it is sort of quite funny when you read it now. There's definitely, from the ancient times, this sort of little ritual around the preparation of the space and rest. Letting go, which is a skill cannot be underestimated or should not be underestimated. Huge skill. The act of not doing.
letting the body to rest, vertebrae by vertebrae, limb by torso, arms, legs. So feel free to stay here longer. It is late. There's no need to come back. But if you are ready to, maybe you've got tea coming, then please bring some movement into the body. Roll to the side. If I don't see you move, then here to stay as you are. Feel free to. Take a look. Shavasana. Not to be underestimated, that aspect of yoga, the contentment, the nurturing. Soothing. And when you're ready, you can slowly begin to bring yourself up to sitting. Just take a comfortable seat. You kneeling or cross-legged? trying to get that sort of light, upright feeling. So if you need to shuffle around a little, find it so that you're nicely poised, crown of the head over your pelvic bowl and heart. And take Yoni Mudra, thumb, forefinger pressed together, and all the other fingers interlace. So connecting to the source, and rest the hands down into around the pelvic floor. Just connect to source. With our attention, with our breath. Scoop that energy up, draw it up the body, bring it into the heart, resting the thumbs into the heart. And finishing thumbs up into the forehead, third eye. Where the divine enters the body, they say. Thank you very much, everyone. Just going to finish recording.